Hey there, you wonderful weirdos. Welcome back to Unfiltered, where we dig up the bizarre, the twisted, and the downright who let this happen moments of history. I'm your host, Midwest Mama, and today we're diving headfirst into the madness. This week, we've got mysterious lights in the sky, history making broadcasts, near rebellions, vanishing planes, and government experiments that went very wrong. Oh, and let's not forget a legendary lawman who rewrote the rules of the Wild West. And because we never stop at just mildly unhinged, we're also diving into some of the weirdest moments in science, naming space rocks, rewriting physics, and a reminder that space is out there doing whatever the hell it wants, with or without us. So buckle up, grab a drink, preferably something strange or green, and let's get really weird. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow me on social media because the madness doesn't stop here. Now, let's kick things off with some mind bending historical facts that'll have you questioning everything you thought you knew. Here we go. Weird history facts. First, we have March 13th, 1997, the Phoenix Lights phenomenon. On March 13th, 1997, thousands of people in Arizona and Nevada witnessed a massive V shaped formation of lights in the sky, later known as the Phoenix Lights. Now, was it an alien spaceship, military flares, a very elaborate prank by someone with way too much free time? We'll never know. But the mystery still haunts the skies, leaving people with one question: what the hell was that? Maybe we'll get answers someday, or not. Honestly, who really knows? March 14th, 1964, the first national closed circuit broadcast of a concert. On March 14th, 1964, something truly mind blowing happened. The Beatles performed for one of the first ever national closed circuit broadcasts of a concert. While Beatlemania had already taken the world by storm, this event took it to a whole new level. Fans all across the country were able to watch the Fab Four in action, which of course only intensified the craze. People were already losing their minds over the Beatles, but this broadcast made sure that no one was left out of the hysteria. It was like the internet, but with less buffering and a lot more screaming. March 15th, 1783, the Newburgh Conspiracy. On March 15th, 1783, a bunch of disgruntled American soldiers got together to plan a coup against the government. They were pissed because they hadn't been paid for their service during the Revolutionary War. The plan was called the Newburgh Conspiracy, and it nearly turned into a full blown rebellion. But in a twist, George Washington, being the absolute boss that he was, showed up, gave an emotional speech, and basically said, "Hey guys, we're all in this together, okay?" The soldiers were so moved that they calmed down and went back to their duty. Talk about a last minute save. March 16th, 1962. Flying Tiger Line Flight 739 disappeared. On March 16th, 1962, Flying Tiger Line Flight 739, a chartered flight, just vanished mid flight without a trace. The plane, which was en route from California to the Philippines, had 107 people on board, including military personnel, and was cruising over the Pacific Ocean when it suddenly just disappeared. No distress signals were sent, and despite extensive search efforts, no wreckage was ever found. It's still one of the biggest unsolved aviation mysteries, and some theories suggest it could have been a hijacking, a mechanical failure, or even an alien abduction, which, let's be honest, doesn't sound that far fetched. March 17th, 1968. Nerve gas testing in Skull Valley. On March 17th, 1968, the U.S. Army Chemical Corps thought it would be a good idea to conduct nerve gas testing in Skull Valley, Utah. Yeah. They released sarin gas into the atmosphere to see what would happen, because that always is a great idea, right? Well, the result was far from great. Over 6,000 sheep ended up dead after being exposed to the gas. That's a lot of dead sheep. And as you can imagine, it wasn't just the sheep who suffered. The local community was left to deal with the fallout, and the government was all, what, us? No, we didn't do anything wrong. Classic cover up material. So, yeah, just another example of the government pulling some shady, unhinged science experiments, while the rest of us are left scratching our heads, wondering how this got past the, guys, maybe we shouldn't do this phase. It's a dark, unsettling chapter in history, honestly, that probably should have stayed buried. But now it's something you can never unknow. You're welcome. March 18th, 1834. Farm laborers sent to Australia. On March 18th, 1834, a bunch of poor farm laborers in England got an unexpected vacation straight to Australia. How, you ask? Well, see, these folks were transported, which is basically fancy talk for we're sending you to a whole other continent as punishment. They were part of a group known as the Swing Riots, angry workers who, after being treated like garbage by the landowners, decided to set fire to barns and wreck the status quo. Instead of, fighting for fair wages, they got a one-way ticket to the land down under. It's like being sent to a much hotter, more dangerous version of a farm. Australia, where the sheep are poisonous, the kangaroos have fists, and the spiders could end your life without even trying. I mean, just imagine your crime, not being okay with being treated like livestock, and your punishment, actually becoming livestock on a whole new continent. Lovely. March 19th, 1848, an FAFO legend was born. March 19th, 1948. Write it down, guys. Wyatt Earp was born. This guy wasn't just some small town sheriff. He was the living, breathing embodiment of what happens when you combine raw grit, a blazing pistol, and a total disregard for authority. Born in Monmouth, Illinois, Earp grew up to become one of the most infamous lawmen in the Wild West, running wild with a reputation that would make your grandma clutch her pearls. This is the dude who was in the middle of a gunfight at the OK Corral, a shootout so legendary it still echoes in Hollywood sound stages. He didn't just fight for justice, he fought because he could, because the law was a suggestion, and he was here to rewrite the rules. Earp lived a life full of shootouts, bar brawls, and more dead bodies than your average Netflix crime drama. He was a gambler, a lawman, and when things got dicey, he'd pull out a gun and settle it Earp style, with bullets and badassery. If you ever wondered what it would look like if Clint Eastwood and a hurricane had a baby, well, that's Wyatt Earp for you. Born to break the law. Hell, he was the law. All right, now that we've dipped our toes into some legendary historical chaos, let's switch it up and dive into the world of bizarre science. From the Wild West to the cosmos, things just got as weird in the realm of discovery. Hold on tight because we're about to explore some mind bending moments. And now for this week's Weird Science. March 13th, Pluto named. So here's the deal. On March 13th, 1930, humanity did something truly monumental. We named a distant, icy rock in the depths of space. But this wasn't just any rock. This was Pluto, the little dwarf planet that could. Except when it got kicked out of the Planet Club, but whatever, we're not holding a grudge. So, thanks to the brilliant suggestion of an 11-year-old British schoolgirl, Venetia Burney, Pluto became the official name. Like, can you imagine having such a deep impact on the universe before you even hit puberty? And get this, while Pluto was discovered in February 1930, the name wasn't actually announced until March 13th. Some sources say the name wasn't officially adopted until May, but who's counting? We're going to say the real party started on March 13th, and that's what history will remember. Did the cosmic chaos unleash when that name was announced? We'll never really know. But who needs flying cars when you've got a cold, faraway planet with a heart wrenching orbit and a mystery that's captivated humanity for generations? Next up, March 14th, 1879, a date that forever changed the course of history. This is the day the genius, the mad scientist who shattered every law of physics known to man, was born. Albert fucking Einstein entered the world in Ulm, Germany, and we were never the same. This man didn't just think differently, he practically warped reality itself. His theory of relativity, yeah, the one that broke all the rules of space and time, made space travel, black holes, and time machines sound like Sunday morning brunch topics. Without him, we might still be wondering how the hell gravity works. But no, Einstein blew the doors off the universe with the realization that time is relative. And now we live in a world where people talk about wormholes and quantum mechanics at dinner parties like it's fucking normal. Relativity isn't just some mind blowing concept, it's the reason your GPS doesn't suck. So to Albert, we say, Happy birthday, you time bending, brain melting legend. March 15th, 1986, Halley's Comet's closest approach to Earth. March 15th, 1986 was the day we all collectively stared up at the sky and thought, Well, damn, that's one hell of a rock. Halley's Comet, the most famous comet in history, made its closest approach to Earth in 76 years, coming within a mind bending 36 million miles of our planet. I was only 6 at the time, but I vividly remember watching it and learning about it at school, where we all got that first taste of just how big and crazy the universe really is. The thing about comets, they're like that one insane friend who pops in every couple of decades, stirs up some chaos, and then disappears into the void again. But this time, it wasn't just Earth's atmosphere getting a little up close and personal with a celestial body. No, this time humanity got a front row seat to science history. The Giotto spacecraft, now don't get it twisted, it's not a fucking coffee machine, successfully flew past the comet, sending back data and images that literally made scientists cry tears of joy. Halley's Comet, visible once only every 76 years, became the cosmic celebrity of the 80s. It's been a while since we've seen it, but when it swings back around, we'll probably all be sitting in a space bar somewhere in 2100, watching it pass by on a hologram, sipping some alien beer. March 26, 1926. Robert Goddard launches the first liquid fueled rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up for the birth of space exploration as we know it. On March 16, 1926, a man named Robert Goddard strapped a rocket to his crazy ass ideas and blasted the hell out of Earth's atmosphere. This wasn't some homemade firecracker. This was the first liquid fueled rocket ever launched. Imagine trying to explain that to your neighbor in 1926. Yeah, so I just figured out how to make rockets fly into space using liquid fuel instead of gunpowder. They probably would have looked at you like you were insane. But Goddard made that futuristic space exploration stuff look easy. And it would take another couple of decades for humanity to finally get its act together and, actually maybe land on the moon. Maybe. Without Goddard, all of our moon landing, Mars rovers, and private space company shenanigans might still be a distant dream. Instead, we're still basking in the glory of that explosive March 16th, where Goddard single handedly said, "Yeah, we're going to space. Just give me a fucking second." March 17th, 1968, Dr. Denton Cooley performs the first successful heart transplant in the U.S. March 17th, 1968 was the day America said, "We can do this too," when it came to saving lives with groundbreaking medical procedures. Dr. Denton Cooley, based in Houston, Texas, performed the first successful heart transplant in the United States, following in the footsteps of Dr. Christian Bernard, who pulled off the world's first heart transplant in South Africa in 1967. But let's get one thing straight. Cooley's achievement was no small potatoes. It was a game changer. Yes, Bernard beat him to the punch on a global scale, but Cooley's surgery marked a turning point in American medicine and proved to the world that heart transplants could be more than a sci fi fantasy. On that day, a new chapter in life saving surgery began, and suddenly the concept of keeping hearts pumping outside of their bodies became less science fiction and more science reality. March 18th, 1965, Alexei Leonov's historic spacewalk. Here's where the universe seriously opened up. March 18th, 1965, Alexei Leonov, the mad Soviet cosmonaut, took humanity's first step into the abyss of space. Like literally. While aboard the Voskhod 2 spacecraft, Leonov floated outside into the void for a brief 12 minutes. Yeah, 12 minutes may not seem like a lot, but that 12-minute venture was the first time we know of that anyone had ever done it. Like, ever. And it was as expected chaotic, unhinged, and downright dangerous. He got stuck and almost died, but somehow managed to get back inside. Leonov's spacewalk was as much about human determination as it was about testing the limits of survival, and that bold move shattered any illusions we had about how safe space was. It was an all out battle for human existence. Leonov's tiny steps outside the spacecraft set us on a trajectory toward total domination of space exploration. Next up, March 19th, 2003. The Human Genome Project completed. March 19th, 2003. Remember that day? You probably don't. Why? Because we were too busy having a collective meltdown as we discovered the code that makes us human. After years of mapping, sequencing, and analyzing, the Human Genome Project officially completed the first comprehensive map of the entire human genome. Suddenly, we could peer into the very fabric of what makes us tick: DNA. The mind boggling achievement didn't just change genetics, it obliterated our understanding of biology, medicine, and everything we thought we knew about human evolution. Suddenly, it wasn't about who we were, but about why we were. We learned how traits are inherited, what diseases we're predisposed to, and, in true human fashion, what kind of genetic weirdness we could pass down to future generations. The implications were massive. By decoding the genome, we basically opened the Pandora's box of science and unleashed the ability to predict, cure, and even play God with biology itself. The future, it was ours for the taking. All right, guys. So science may have been out here cracking the code of existence, but let's shift gears from groundbreaking discoveries to the kind of weirdness you can actually celebrate. Because believe it or not, the calendar is packed with holidays that make just about as much sense as decoding our own DNA. And lastly, but not leastly, we have this week's weird holidays. First up, National Earmuff Day. Hold on to your ears because March 13th is National Earmuff Day. We're talking about celebrating the brilliance of Chester Greenwood, a 15-year-old genius who, in 1873, decided to protect his ears from the cold while ice skating. He invented earmuffs, and the rest is history. So slap those earmuffs on and channel the energy of a teenager who made sure you could walk through a blizzard without suffering frostbite on your ears. Whether you're braving icy winds or just channeling your inner winter fashionista, Chester's got your back. March 14th, National Pie Day. Get ready to get irrational on March 14th because it's National Pie Day. That's right, the never ending, mind bending, infinitely fascinating number. 3.14159 etc., etc., etc. Gets its own special day. Celebrate by stuffing your face with pie because math and food are the perfect combo, right? I mean, sure, no one's baking pie with pie written on it unless you're some kind of math wizard with a pastry degree. But who cares when you've got the sweet satisfaction of pie in your mouth and pie in your brain? Eat it, calculate it, and love it. It's Pie Day, people. March 15th, National Napping Day. Forget work, forget responsibilities. March 15th is National Napping Day. This isn't just some sleepy celebration, it's the day to fully embrace your inner sloth and do absolutely nothing but nap. Why? Because the time change is brutal and you deserve it. Seriously, who needs productivity when you can rest, recharge, and let your brain melt into the blissful oblivion of pillow induced euphoria? Call it time change recovery and nap like nobody's watching. You earn this, and the world can wait. And hey, if one nap isn't enough, March 16th has got you covered. Welcome to National Panda Day, the day you can take your laziness to a whole new level. Let's be real, if there's one animal that embodies chill vibes, it's the panda. And guess what? March 16th is National Panda Day, so you have permission to live like one. Spend the day doing nothing but eating bamboo, or your favorite snack, rolling around in your bed, and generally avoiding all responsibility. Pandas nap for like 14 hours a day. So, what's stopping you from embracing this luxurious lifestyle of leisure? I mean, probably work and bills. But today's the day to be as lazy as the adorable black and white legends we all wish we could be. So, to recap, that's 2 straight days of napping. But don't get too cozy because the next day, March 17th, is coming, and it's time to snap out of your Zen panda coma and get ready to turn up. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, when everyone is Irish for the day. Green beer flows like water, and shamrocks are worn like armor. March 17th is your official pass to get weird, get loud, and get green. Whether you're chugging Guinness, devouring corned beef, or slapping on the most ridiculous leprechaun gear, it's time to embrace your inner Irish spirit. Don't know how to jig? Doesn't matter. You'll pretend you do anyway. Just go with the drunken chaos because honestly, that's the only way to properly honor the holiday. And then the next morning, when the St. Patrick's Day chaos has worn off and the green beer buzz is finally gone, welcome to March 18th, National Awkward Moments Day. You thought the hangover was the worst thing you'd face today, right? Wrong. Now you get to face all the other consequences of your wild night out. You know, like when you accidentally texted your ex or found yourself telling your boss, Happy St. Patrick's Day on the wrong day, or worse, realizing you went home with someone who is now mysteriously not in your bed. It's like an Olympic event of embarrassing moments, and hey, at least there's a whole day dedicated to embracing it. We've all been there, so just own it. After all, those awkward situations are what truly makes us human, and possibly a little too friendly with the idea of getting one more round at the bar. So, cheers to that. And what better way to kick off the morning after your shame spiral than with a good old laugh? March 19th is National Let's Laugh Day because after the awkwardness of the day before, you're going to need something to get through it. So go ahead, laugh at yourself, your bad decisions, and your questionable text messages. This is your official invitation to laugh like a lunatic and embrace the chaos. Whether you're binging the most ridiculous cat videos, telling the worst dad jokes, or just chuckling at how absurd life can be, today is about releasing all that tension and just letting the laughter flow. No shame, just pure joy. So laugh till you snort. Your awkward moments might just turn into your funniest stories. I know mine have. And there we have this week's weird holidays because let's be real, humans will celebrate literally anything. So before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to appreciate just how unhinged history really is. Seriously. From questionable decisions to full blown chaos, there's never a dull moment in the past or on this show. The world's been absolutely wild from day one, and we're here to laugh about it all. So hang tight because there's always more insanity where that came from. And that's a wrap on this wild ride through history's weirdest moments. Hopefully, your brain is now filled with enough bizarre facts to both impress and deeply concern your friends. But if you had fun, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Unfiltered, because the madness is only getting weirder. Follow me on social media for extra chaos, unhinged history tidbits, and whatever other nonsense I'm ranting about this week. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So come say hi, drop your weirdest historical fact in the comments, or just lurk like a cryptid. And if you love this show and want to help me keep it going, and maybe upgrade from yelling into a slightly better microphone, check out the Indiegogo campaign. Every little bit helps keep Unfiltered alive and even weirder. You can find the link in the show notes, on social media, or probably just by aggressively Googling it. All right, you guys, that's it for this week. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and above all, stay weird. Catch you next time. Love you. Bye.